Welcome back, everybody. Today we're doing another dupe comparison. We're comparing Creed's Green Irish Tweed to Armaf Tres Nuit. Now, I've got two decants of it. I picked it up at Luxe Gentleman Society. Shout out to my guy, Jerry. Not sponsored, but that's where I got these little decants. So I decided I'd come on here and do a little comparison video and basically decide, is your money better spent on the dupe in this circumstance? The Creed it's a fantastic, famous, super popular legacy style fragrance. It's $200 a bottle. That's what you can get it at discounters, which I actually think is a really fair price for what you're getting. But is your money better spent on the dupe? That's the question we're trying to answer today. So let's talk about it. Now, I don't want to sanctify Green Irish Tweed, okay? This fragrance is really special to me. It's really important to me as someone with Irish heritage. It's one of the few fragrances that really allows me to kind of connect with my heritage, and I'm a huge fan of it, okay? So I don't want this video. I know some people are kind of anti-dupe, but the truth of the matter is that not everybody has $200, $300 to spend on their fragrances. So, you know, is it really worth it for what you get when you buy Armaf Tres Nuit? Now, I just looked up how much it costs. It's $18.99 for a full-size bottle of Tres Nuit EDP on Joma Shop. So we're talking about probably like 9% of the cost of Green Irish Tweed when you get it on discounters. That is a stark difference in price. So, you know, we're talking about, so realistically, you know, we're really answering the question of, is this worth $180 additional dollars? And, you know, I actually don't think the answer is as easy as you might think off rip. You may already know what Green Irish Tweed smells like, but in case you don't, I'm gonna go through it very briefly. So the way I would describe it is imagine like a minty Irish spring fragrance with a little bit of spice in it, incredibly mass appealing, minty and cooling. Like, it's one of those fragrances that when you smell it, it almost has like a cooling effect from this mintiness that's also spicy. And also you can just kind of imagine like an Irish Spring, either soap or coffee creamer, something to that effect, and just imagine like a little bit of sharpness and spiciness to it. Incredibly well done, a masterpiece fragrance, something that I do believe is worth having. I do believe all in all is worth the price that you would pay for it. But even as someone who thinks that Green Irish Tweed is worth every penny that you would pay for it, when you think about the fact that this is $18, okay, it's one of those questions of asking yourself, like, is this really worth it, okay? Is this really worth it when you can pay 18 bucks for Armaf? Green Irish Tweed is a phenomenal fragrance, honestly. It is sensational. It's uplifting. It gives you this sense of like subtle masculinity that I think is phenomenal. Now, admittedly, I love it. Like I said, I would pay full price for Green Irish Tweed, but it's not perfect. You know, the performance is not something to write home about. That first 45 minutes to an hour is absolutely electric. It is so it's just amazing. But it really sharply falls off after that first hour. It becomes relatively a skin scent by hour 2 and 3, and it is very, very close to the skin from there until about hour 5, and at that point, it's pretty much gone. So I think people who criticize Green Irish Tweed and just want better performance and don't think that the price point is worth it because the performance is not really in line with the price point, I think that's a valid assessment on this. Enter Armaf Tres Nuit for 18 bucks. I've compared these two a lot. I've worn them side by side, one on each arm for multiple days, and really tried to get a thorough opinion on this instead of just, you know, smelling them both on the tester strip and be like, oh my God, they're 1-to-1. And I would say all in all, it's a good dupe, okay? It's a good dupe, but it's still a dupe. Admittedly, if you were to smell these on a tester strip or to kind of put them side by side on skin, that very first initial impression, you're gonna go, oh yeah, that's really, really close. I mean, I remember when I sprayed this for the first time, I didn't spray it next to Green Irish Tweed, I just kind of sprayed it by itself and smelled it and was immediately like, yeah, that's absolutely, positively, definitely Green Irish Tweed. So that initial blast is nearly identical. It's very, very close when those top notes are hitting, you know, right off the bat. The slight difference is that it's not as sharp. That spiciness that they've got going with the mint It's not as sharp as Green Irish Tweed, okay? So it's slightly toned down. It's a little bit duller, which I know is kind of interesting because Green Irish Tweed is already not like a super strong performing belting fragrance by any means. And then as time goes on, as you wear them side by side, they do kind of start to drift apart a little bit. And Armaf Tres Nuit kind of moves more towards like a vanilla, minty, barbershop, fresh type of fragrance, whereas Green Irish Tweed kind of just stays in line with, you know, its top notes. Tres Nuit, you know, it really starts to move more towards like a more dull vanilla type of barbershop fragrance. Like I was saying, the fragrance that it really reminds me of after it started to dry down on my skin is the original JPG La Male EDT. Just that vanilla, fresh barbershop style fragrance, you know, and like I said, as time goes on, you start to smell them side by side, the differences start to kind of reveal themselves a little bit. And I'm sure a lot of people are really wondering about the performance. You know, I think if people found this to be a better performing fragrance, even if the quality of the ingredients aren't as high, even if it's not specifically a one-to-one all the way through, if it performs better and it lasts longer than Green Irish Tweed, then at a 9% cost of the OG, this would absolutely be worth it. And I'm sorry to say that that's just not. It's not it. It actually does perform worse than Green Irish Tweed, which, like I said, you know, Green Irish Tweed, not exactly a long performing fragrance in and of itself. So the fact that this, I would say, lasts probably 45 minutes to an hour, less, definitely tones down a lot quicker than the OG. You know, it's just one of those things where you're like, okay. And that's why I say it's a good dupe, but it's good. I wouldn't say it's great. I wouldn't say it's phenomenal. I wouldn't say it's sensational. You know, I'm not gonna glaze this dupe. I think for what it is, I think it's fine. And especially when you consider the price point, if spending $200 on a fragrance is just truly not in your means, I don't think there's anything wrong with this fragrance. It's not perfect. It's not a one-to-one match. And sometimes I think that we really judge a dupe fragrance based on how close it is to the original versus just kind of objectively looking at it and just saying like, is this a good fragrance on its own? Is this worth $19 on its own? And I think the answer to that is yes. I mean, what else are you really gonna find at this price point? You know what I mean? Like, for how much you're paying, the value's definitely there. But if you're someone that just absolutely adores Green Irish Tweed and you think it's absolutely phenomenal, one of your favorite fragrances of all time, you probably should not buy this because this might aggravate you. But for someone who either maybe isn't so hot on Green Irish Tweed, maybe you like it but you don't love it enough to pull the trigger on the full bottle, very possible. I know it's a very mass appealing scent that is loved by so many, but it's possible, right? Then this might be a great option for you. Or if you're somebody that loves Green Irish Tweed but you know, you wanna wear something that smells like it when you're doing yard work or you're working around the house or running errands and you don't want to kind of cut in to that full-size bottle, for the price that you're paying for it, I think it's a worthy buy. But all in all, if I had to pick one or the other, even when you consider that Green Irish Tweed is over 10x the price point, I think it's the better option, and it's the option that I like more. Is there an element of kind of just the brand of Creed and the story and kind of the heritage and history of the fragrance that's kind of making me say that? Yeah, absolutely. And I don't think those are invalid reasons to want to have a fragrance in your collection at all. But if you don't give a shit about any of that and you only care about the juice inside the bottle, what it smells like, and how long it lasts, then, you know, dollar for dollar, Tres Nuit is gonna be the winner simply due to the fact that it's so cheap. I personally think that the sharpness and the richness of Green Irish Tweed just really takes it over the edge for me. It's something that does kind of capture me in a way where I'm like, yeah, only that fragrance can do that. I've yet to find a fragrance that really kind of does it better than this. If you know of one, if you know of a Green Irish Tweed that you think outperforms in terms of projection and longevity, please let me know down in the comments below. But this has really been the only one that I've been able to find that that everyone kind of points to as the commonly recognized dupe of this fragrance. So those are my thoughts on the two. You know, I think you could go either way, and there's a valid justification to go for each one. I still lean on the side of I'm gonna spend my money on the real thing. You could tell me it's because of the brand, you could tell me it's because of all the things outside of the juice itself, and I would say that there's some truth to that, but to me, you know, how you define how you wanna spend your money is completely up to you. And so, you know, if you told me that, you know, $20 for this is absolutely worth it and screw spending $200 on something that doesn't even really last that long anyways, I would agree with you. I would say that's a fair take. But if you also stood in the party of Green Irish Tweed is unreplaceable, it's undupable, it's a masterpiece fragrance, and I just won't accept anything else, I would respect that as well. So I try to give a more balanced approach to comparing the two fragrances. I think there's a use case for having one, the other, and both. And it's just funny when you think about the fact that this 10 ml bottle costs double what the full-size bottle of the Trace Nuit was. You know, it's just kind of funny to think about. But like I said, how you define value and how you define what is worth spending your money on is completely your decision. So hopefully I gave you a little bit more of a balanced approach here. If you like this video, I'd encourage you to give this video a like and consider subscribing to the channel. I like doing dupe comparisons, fragrance reviews, lists, that whole thing. Long-form discussion-based content around fragrances. It's a brand new channel I've been working really hard on recently. So if you stayed all the way to the end of the video, I highly appreciate it. Hope to see you in the next video. And yeah, that's about it. See you next time.